Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I hope you are all doing well, inshallah. It appears that Israel is angry at Europe and are losing their mind. Tensions are happening between Israel and European countries, especially France. Lately, with Israel losing the plot, how are they losing the plot? It's a crusade against the Jewish state. What's a crusade against the Jewish state? What the French president is saying. French president claims that a humanitarian blockade is and threatens to increase pressure on Israel. The foreign ministry published in English a very harsh statement against him. The facts do not interest him. There is no humanitarian blockade. This is a blatant lie, Minister Katz said. And he said that the paper recognizing a Palestinian state will be thrown in the trash because Macron was talking about the recognition of a Palestinian state. France and other European countries are talking about recognizing a Palestinian state, more political support and diplomatic support. But the fact of the matter is, Israel is getting annoyed at any sort of a statement, even coming from these countries, if they criticize them, or if they say there's a humanitarian catastrophe, or if they say that, for example, there's a genocide going on. And to this level, saying that France is having a crusade against the Jewish state, the eternal victims ashamed of nothing, and always playing the victim card. Typical. Now, on the diplomatic front, some of the Arab states are doing some moves. But before I get to these moves, the tone in Europe is changing not only from France, but it's also changing from Germany as well. So Germany now, the German foreign minister is saying that we will approve arms shipments to Israel based on assessment of the humanitarian situation in Gaza. Germany is the second biggest supplier of arms to Israel following the United States, and after Germany comes Italy. If Germany actually halts arms to Israel, that will be something significant for Israel, way more significant than when Canada, for example, halted arms last year. Of course, if the United States would still arm Israel, Israel would still be able to continue. But the fact that Germany has had positions that were abhorrent. They were the most supportive alongside the United States of Israel, despite all of the criticism and horrors. And they have made abhorrent statements, the political leaders of Germany towards Israel and the genocide in Gaza, with the draconian measures being taken internally in Germany against anyone who sympathizes with the Palestinian people. But this shows you again the level of stupidity of the Israelis and how far they went to cause a problem with, well, one of the biggest allies of Israel, Germany. Germany is a country that, well, it's still petrified of the threat of someone calling them, anti-Jewish or whatever it is. They follow all of that garbage. Although they were the ones, the problem started with them anyway. And these problems started in Europe as well, and then they exported it to Palestine. All of a sudden, the Palestinians are involved in something that they had no interest in or any involvement in. They threw their garbage problems there, and now they're blaming the Palestinians with all of these problems. But even them, even Germany, even the German politicians, even the German leaders, that shows you a very massive diplomatic failure for Israel. Some of the Arab countries are trying to give a ring of support, a diplomatic ring of support for the Palestinian Authority simultaneously with the announcement of the ceasefire or the expected announcement of the ceasefire as advised by Donald Trump. And these countries are in particular, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Jordan, Qatar, and Turkey. They wanted to go to the West Bank to meet with the Palestinian president Mahmoud Abbas to increase the prospect of a Palestinian state, to say that, okay, we reached a ceasefire in Gaza, but we need to have a state. We're not just going to be satisfied with just a ceasefire that Benjamin Netanyahu would break again. No, we want to come and we want to show you solidarity. And in the Saudi Arabian case, that would have been a landmark visit. And guess what? Saudi Arabia is a country that Israel has always been talking about, saying that we want to have a deal with them and we want to let them join what's labeled as the Abraham Accords. And we want to have a peace deal with them. But now they're actually blocking them from visiting. Israel will block Saudi-led delegation from visiting the West Bank. Again, another exercise of paranoia. You're talking about a paranoid state. They're afraid from visits. And this is a country that they want to have relations with. Saudi Arabia is one of the key Arab states that Israel wants to deal with. Benjamin Netanyahu himself personally has been chasing the Saudis for a deal, for a peace treaty, for them to join the Abraham Accords for decades now. Why? Because Israel begs for recognition? Why? Because a thief wants to be legitimized. Some of the Arab states, try to give him the legitimacy on a governmental level. They never really received the popular legitimacy, and they will never have any sort of real normalization, even if you look at the peace treaty with Egypt and with Jordan too, let alone with Saudi Arabia. Now you're trying to reach a deal with them. You're trying to have these diplomatic ties with Saudi Arabia. You're asking the Americans, you're constantly asking the Americans to push, to ask to include Israel in the negotiations. Let them have a peace treaty with us. Let's have a peace treaty with them. And you're banning them from visiting your puppet. I mean, who is the Palestinian president anyway? It's not like you're talking about someone from another. No, the Palestinian president, everything is coordinated with Israel. The man moves with the approval of Israel. The man condemns the Palestinian resistance. The man he whitewashed the genocide by blaming all of the genocide on the Palestinian resistance. And he was swearing at them too. Yet Israel is banning the Saudi delegation and the Jordanian and Egyptian too. It's like you have relations with them. What does it show you? What does it show you? This is very symbolic. It's showing you how paranoid they are. They are petrified. A normal country isn't afraid of criticism, isn't afraid of flags, isn't afraid of people. Even to an extent, some people say even dissent, really? Some people say it's necessary for democracy, right? If we want to talk or pretend like there's democracy or human rights. And now banning all of the visits coming from well-known hostile countries, to say the least. Some of them have peace treaties with them too. To the West Bank to visit the man who you're even enabling. They are petrified. They are petrified and they're scared to the high heavens. That's why they're constantly talking about, we will be destroyed and we will be done. And this is an existential war, an existential threat. The Israeli foreign minister saying yesterday that if we have sanctions against us, we will be destroyed. It will be a second Holocaust, state of total paranoia. And that alongside the projection of power and the abhorrent barbarism, the exaggerated violence, all of that is a show of strength to hide the fear, to hide the weakness, to hide the defeated mentality, to hide a defeated nation, to cover up a huge military failure. Yet despite all of that, they will never be able to hide the failure and cover it up, especially if even a temporary ceasefire deal now goes ahead. May Allah make it easy on the people of Palestine. May Allah remove Israel from the face of this earth. Yad Ramin.